track. Trying to turn me back. Got to make this journey somehow. I've got to make this journey. Devil's on my track. Trying to turn me back. Got to make this journey somehow. Somehow. Church, I've got to make it. Oh, the devil's on my track. Trying to turn me back. Got to make this journey.
Good evening, good evening. Come on in, come on in. Hope all is well tonight. Good evening, Dr. Faith. Good evening, Sister Talia. Good to see you all tonight. Good evening, good evening, good evening. What's going on, Heat family? Good to see you all tonight. Good to see you all tonight. I'm excited to find out what the results are of this initial virtual election polling. Hopefully everyone had a blessed and highly favored Sunday. We'll wait for about two more people to come into the room. Literally, gonna wait for two more people to come into the room, and then we're gonna get right into the show. Y'all know when I'm starting the show, I get right to the business. Hopefully, all is well. Hopefully, everyone is doing well. Hopefully, everyone is ready for Labor Day. on tomorrow. Anyone barbecuing? Anyone having barbecue? Is that what you're doing on Labor Day? I don't know. They all start to look alike to me. I'm literally waiting for the next two people to come in. Oh, okay. We've already passed. Good evening to you, Dr. Edward. Good to see you tonight. Hope all is well with you. All right, y'all. Listen, y'all know I don't waste a lot of time on this type of stuff. Let's get right down to it. Because what we came to see is what are the results, right? And then talk about some church business. All right, the voting has indeed closed. Good evening, Dr. Ryan. Good to see you tonight. Thank you for joining on tonight. It always means a lot to me anytime you all decide to see what it is that I'm talking about on any given day. All right, let's see if it will show us the results. Here are your results. Oh my. Okay. Good evening. Good evening. Good to see you tonight. Thank you for joining in with us tonight. Now y'all got to say something in the comments tonight because I'm bugging off of this. So let's get to our top vote getters. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Coming in at number 6 is Bishop Patrick Wooden. Bishop Patrick Wooden came in at number 6 in the vote for presiding bishop. Came in at number 6. Coming in at number 5, Bishop Darrell Hines. Bishop Darrell Hines comes in at number 5. Anybody? These? Yes, sir. These are for presiding bishop. Number 6 came in at Bishop Patrick Wooden. Number 5 came in at Bishop Darrell Hines. Y'all tell me before we even go any further, who do y'all think got it? Who do y'all think got it? Okay. All right. How many people think that Bishop Sheard got the vote? And does he deserve the vote? Who do y'all think he got, and who thinks he deserves it? Because right now we are at 6 and we are at 5. Now, mind y'all, remember, I cannot see all of the chat. So if you're saying something, I may not be able to see it. So if I'm not responding, it's not to ignore you, it's just that I can't see all the comments that come into the chat. I can only see those that come specifically to me in the room. Okay? So we've got at number 6, Bishop Patrick Wooden, and at number 5, Bishop Darrell Hines. The other 6 got no votes at all, so they did not register, so we're not talking about them. Okay? All right. Who y'all think came in number 4? We only got 4 more spots to go. Let's see who number 4 is. Bishop Jerry Wayne Macklin. Bishop Jerry Wayne Macklin came in 4th. Is that a surprise? Is that something you expected? By the way, I'm out of town tonight. I want to thank Superintendent D.A. Hornsby for allowing me to use his office at his church on tonight. He left me the keys and left and went home. He said, Bishop, do what you got to do. So I appreciate that, sir. Thank you so much. Number 6, Bishop Patrick Wooden. Number 5, Bishop Darrell Hines. Number 4, Bishop Jerry Wayne Macklin. Question on the floor. Does COGIC have any active Caucasian bishops? None that I'm aware of. I do know we have 1 or 2 Latin bishops that I'm aware of, but I don't know of any Caucasian bishops. I think we have a bishop in maybe Brazil who is Brazilian. I think one in Mexico who is Mexican. And there may be 1 or 2 others who are Latin, like Venezuelan or something to that effect. But I do not know of any Caucasian bishops in the Church of God in Christ currently. But I can tell you if I'm wrong, somebody will tell me before the night is over. But I don't personally know of any. I think that ended in the early 1900s, probably prior to 1914, when they split to create the Assemblies of God. Those were all COGIC pastors and bishops. Bishop Ship, I can't with you today. Oh, God. Was that what that was? That's what that was. Bishop Sheard was trying to convert out in Salt Lake City so that we would have some Caucasian bishops. Well, it may have gotten him the vote tonight. We're getting ready to see. So number 6, Bishop Patrick Wooden with 4% of the vote for presiding bishop. Number 5, Bishop Darrell Hines with 4% of the vote for presiding bishop. Number 4, Bishop Jerry Wayne Macklin with 13% of the vote for presiding bishop. So, there's only 3 spots left. What say y'all? Let's see who came in 3rd place with 15% of the vote. 3rd place position went to, which would essentially make him 2nd assistant presiding bishop. Well, who was it? Tell us. Well, here they go acting like the Church of God in Christ. Somebody don't want y'all to see this, or me either. Let's see. Right, another glitch like the last time. You see it out there. Nope, we're not having another vote. We're gonna get these results. Bishop Drew Sheard. That's why there was a glitch. The Bishop Drew Sheard with 15% of the vote, coming in at 3rd place. To Bishop J. Drew Sheard. Anybody surprised? I will tell you, I'm a little surprised. I did not expect Bishop Sheard to win the vote, but I did expect him to be in 2nd place. Going to be quite honest. Sister Collier said Bishop Dillard won. Who else can tell me? Who else has a guess? Who won? Who got the most votes? We now know it was not Bishop Sheard. And there are only 2 left. Gotta be a cyber attack for these results. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna accept that. Ben Deloach says Bishop Hankerson won. Ava Collier says Bishop Dillard won. Those are the only 2 names left. Y'all tell me who you think got it. Y'all tell me who you think got it. Jimmy Dean says Bishop Linwood Dillard will lead the Church of God in Christ. So that's 2 for Bishop Dillard, 1 for Bishop Hankerson. Edith Critchlow says Bishop Hankerson. Auntie Deb says Bishop Dillard. This is interesting. Those are the only two names left. Some more of y'all tell me who you think got it. I think it was Bishop Hankerson or Bishop Dillard. This is interesting. Is anybody surprised that Bishop Hankerson would be in the top two? That's kind of an out of nowhere, but this has been interesting to me. Okay. We've got one who believes Bishop A. Liddell Thomas has gotten presiding bishop. Another for Bishop Dillard. Yeah, yeah, Dean, I'm absolutely surprised. Like this is really surprising to me. Um, if I don't know if y'all were watching, those who were watching back when Bishop Dillard got on the general board, and he and I had a discussion, and I was very adamant that I did not believe he should have took that position at that time. Um, I didn't believe that he should have constitutionally. It had nothing to do with personal. And I said that to him, and of course he already understood that. He understands how I move and shake. And um, and so when I went back in the office to talk to him, we sat down and had a great conversation. Um, but I told him then, I said, Bishop, my problem is you're a first time ballot anytime you run. That's number one. And number two, I think you have a great shot at being the presiding bishop of this church. Um, and so I thought for him to do it when he did under those circumstances um, tainted that a little bit for me, uh, but not enough to dislike him. I have the utmost respect for Bishop Hankerson, and he knows that, and we have great rapport. Um, Edith says, yes, things happen in elections. Charles Edwards says Bishop Dillard. That's another. Darren Bryan says Hankerson has a phenomenal social media presence. However, I like Bishop Dillard. Um, yeah, it's I, I could see Bishop Hankerson as presiding bishop. Um, like I said, the only negative for me was the jumping in that thing. Um, that I mean, it violated the Constitution, and as I told him, I'm always Constitution first. So doesn't really have a personal effect to me. It was a violation of the Constitution, and I understand who did it. I understand why. Yeah, absolutely. James Bond Jr. followed him home. That's the famous Bishop Blake saying, "Follow me home." Um, I I was talking to some administrative assistants across the country, and they were saying to me that what they really like about Bishop Dillard is that they, his marriage is genuine. He's a genuine guy. Uh, he's a strong guy. He's a great leader, great administrator. Um, but hold on, because we're getting ready to have a discussion about all of this in just 1 second. All right. Listen, I'm actually going to agree with you. J. Lewis Felton um, is an amazing person. Um, he's got a great. He took over a great ministry, so he didn't build it, but he did build a great Baptist ministry, and then came back into the Church of God in Christ, was made a bishop and given a bishop's church, and has just blown that thing out the water. So, when you got it, you just got it. Roger Kennings is another guy like that. My mic is kind of low. Okay. Let me see what I can do about that. Okay. Is that better? Chairman Edie likes to tell me to put my preaching voice on. I'm just not a very loud person by nature, so sometimes I may be talking what seems to be normal to me could be low to y'all. So just let me know. Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna try to, as Chairman Edie says, speaking my preaching voice. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Good. Okay. Well, if you can't, then let's turn up your volume and let's see if that helps. Um. All right. Bishop Shear was number 3. We only got 2 left. It looks split in terms of who thinks is Bishop Hankerson, who thinks is Bishop Dillard. Let's see what the vote actually turned out. With 26% of the votes, number 2 is who? You know what? Y'all trying to look. See this? They trying to make me mad, y'all. They do not want us to know. Or maybe I'm waiting too long. Number 2, 26% of the vote is who? Show us. You know what? Technology. Anybody else hate it? Okay. Give us the results. Come on. Who is it? They do not want us to know. I know y'all talking crazy in these comments right along here. So I'm thinking something crazy in the comments. Would y'all show us, please? Refresh. Okay. Let me try that. Okay. You saw Bishop Hankerson. Was that prophetic? You saw Bishop. Was that prophetic, Sister Connie? You saw Bishop Hankerson at number 2. Let's see. Let us see. Bishop Linwood Dillard, number 2. Bishop Elijah Hankerson with 39%. That's a huge amount. With 39% of the vote. Bishop Elijah Hankerson. Wow. Okay, anybody besides me shocked right now? Wow. Wow. That's all I can say. Well, I didn't make this. I just put it up. I don't run it. I don't have anything to do with the company who did. Wow. I mean, will we even accept this? Like in real life, will we accept this? Now that is true. That is true. I mean, You got to think there were what 500, nearly 500 votes, 500 plus votes for the general board. Bishop Hankerson had 81% of the vote. No, wasn't anybody even close to him. I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but I am. Wow. My cousin said that Bishop Hankerson is the new Kamala. I'm serious. This is this would be shocking to me. How do we get here? Because Bishop Dillard was like way ahead for 2 days. How do we get here? Wow. And you know what? Based on what happened on last week, probably if we let it go for a whole week, he'd probably get more votes. This is a bit shocking. I again, not my votes. That's who they voted for. Those six right there were the only six that, by the way, got votes for um for presiding bishop at all. No one else got any votes. Wow. Ah, Dr. Vaughn says popularity. He's visible to everything. He is. He shows up to everything. You know what though? That presents a question. Even though y'all know I don't think marriage should have anything to do with it. But would that affect? Well, clearly it didn't affect anybody. But hmm, I don't. Well, I think um he's got growth at his church. He's got a strong jurisdiction. He's pretty well liked. I mean, he's everywhere. So you know, I don't know why I'm so surprised. You know what though, Kevin? That's the bottom. This was the problem in the last election. Is because for me, I could not understand why we were so focused on whether or not somebody had a wife versus whether or not they were qualified and capable of leading the church to the next level. And I'm hoping we don't make that mistake again. And I hate to say it as like a mistake because it makes it sound like I got a problem. But I'm saying the mistake of judging leadership based solely on that. Again, uh, Bishop Mason wasn't. So what are we talking about? I mean, he was a divorced man. What are we talking about? We kind of forget our real history in this church sometimes. Sometimes we do that. And that's true. The people love Bishop Linwood Dillard as well. Bishop Hankerson is very approachable. That is a true statement as well. He makes it, you know, I don't, the last time we had a presiding bishop that actually worked the altar was Bishop G. Patterson. And that was 17, 18 years ago. Well, you know what? You know what's just wrong? That was what I was saying about Bishop Daniels. Again, if you listen to Paul, he thought if you're going to lead at that level, that you shouldn't have a wife. That also needs to be committed to the work of of spreading the doctrine and the mission of the church. So, you know, not having those encumbrances, there's nothing wrong with a wife, but not having one, I don't think disqualifies you for leadership at all. Because the last time I checked, Jesus didn't have one either. But, you know, oh yeah, that's for sure. Well, Bishop Hankerson gonna stay in church for a while. He's a churchman. He's a churchman. Yeah, he gonna lay hands on everybody. He gonna work. Bishop Hankerson is going to go to work. That's a good point. I don't think all of the delegates are social media. You'd be quite surprised how many are. It's a reason why all of the candidates go to people like my very good friend Steve Harris, and they go to William McCray, and they go to other social media outlets um, to advertise that they're running, and they use social media people to do email blast and blast out their flyers. Why? Because actually they quite do. You don't see candidate forums anymore. They go to social media. Um, they call up Mark Moore. That's just the way it goes. At one point, I would have agreed with you completely, but that's just not the case because uh, if that were the case, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing. And they do that because social media is where they get their traction. When you have Bishop Cedric Daniels, Bishop J. Drew Sheard, uh, Karen Clark Sheard, when you got all of these people all going to social media personalities and doing sit down interviews and things like that, it's because it works. Um, that's why they do it. Well, if they follow the Constitution, then everybody's running for presiding bishop. That's the question. Will they follow the Constitution? Our Constitution does not actually. Um, there's no such thing as running for presiding bishop. I know that that's what they do, but constitutionally that doesn't exist. That's a rather new phenomenon. That probably goes back to 96 to 2000 when we get this running for presiding bishop thing. Um, the Constitution doesn't call for that. As a matter of fact, it doesn't even allow for that. It allows for running for the general board and for those candidates to say why they want to be on the general board. Where do they think the church should be going? You've got to remember the presiding bishop's responsibility is to represent the general board when the general board is not in session. And the job of the general board is to represent the general assembly when the general assembly is not in session. So anything the presiding bishop does, he has to do with a majority vote or support of the majority of the general board. He can't do anything on his own, even though I know that there are some who have. Uh, that's not constitutional. So I think the bigger question is, will they follow the Constitution finally? And I don't mean the candidates. I mean, will the chairman of the General Assembly finally follow the Constitution? That's a different question. Realistically, do you think Bishop Hankerson will try to run for presiding bishop? He's a Shepherd loyalist. I think Wooden, if elected, would try to run 4 years down the road. I actually think Hankerson would be more likely to run or to say I want it than Wooden. I know y'all think that, but Bishop Wooden is you can't find an instance where he has stood up on anything dealing with Bishop Sheard or his family or anybody else. It's just not what he does. He seems to be a company guy to me. Um, as a matter of fact, Bishop Sheard says that's why he is loyal to Bishop Wooden and supports him, is because when they tried to take Bishop Sheard down from another position and offer it to Bishop Wooden declined it because uh, he didn't like that they had removed Bishop Sheard. He was not bishop at the time, but so that goes back a long ways. I don't think I think people think because he talks so boldly, calling names of people that you know outside the church, that somehow means he is a rock solid. I'm gonna stand on what I stand on and say what I say. That doesn't go past the world. As a matter of fact, when he had an opportunity, uh, just here recently, his answer to his church members who questioned having um, Bishop Sheard even come to their convocation and speak after he endorsed Kamala Harris. Uh, Bishop Wooden's answer to that was, "You have to learn how to compromise without being compromised." That is his position. And so to think that that's what he thinks about leadership, he's never going to challenge that ever. It's not what he does. I know y'all think he does what he does. I think movements like Pilgrim Assemblies, uh, I mean, we introduce our people to it, and what they're doing is what we used to do. If you really look back, you want to see what Pilgrim Assembly is doing. You want to see what Bishop Hezekiah Walker is doing uh, with his fellowship. Used to be founded by Bishop Moles, um, Matthew Stevens, and John Hanna. What do all these people have in common? 4 a.m. Tarian services, Altitarian service, all the things that these are all people with a COGIC experience doing what we used to do that we said was antiquated, and so we tried to change to fit what was happening with the CCM and the praise and worship and all this. And what they've done is just gone back, right? So they're singing, "I'm a soldier in the army of the Lord," and we're singing, whatever we're singing, "Please, Jesus, God, please help, please forget, I'm a piece of trash." So we're doing that, and they're doing that old stuff that we used to do. That's the difference. You want to know why those are doing it? They haven't rebranded. What they did was they became Church of God in Christ, what we used to be when they called us Holy Rollers, and said we locked the doors during the offering and prayer, because the ushers would stand on the doors. Now that's what they do. Um, all churches need to get rid of titles, get out of being a business, and get back right with God. Um, I think they need to get rid of the mentality that titles make you better. Um, Titles should denote your level of service and who you serve. Pastors serve members. Members don't serve pastors. Bishops serve pastors. Pastors don't serve bishops. Um, General board members, apostles, whatever your flavor of denomination is, they serve bishops. Bishops don't serve them. So I think it's not the title, it's that the titles have now become misconstrued, so that if you have a title, you're up here and you're being served, versus that you have a new level of service. Um, in terms of the business side, I mean, the reality is, I don't know how ministry gets done without business being done. Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse that there may be meat in mine house. Somebody got to count it. Somebody's got to cook it. Somebody's got to serve it. That's the business of ministry. Somebody's got to visit the hospitals. Somebody's got to visit the sick and shut in. When I was in prison, you visited me. Somebody's got to do all of that. That's the business. And unfortunately, I don't care if you're talking about biblical times or you're talking about modern day times, you had to have some kind of transportation to get there. Um, so whether you ride a camel or a horse, you got to feed that. You're driving a car, you got to put gas in that. So there's, I think, the misconception is that because they have turned the business of the church into where the pastor lives and what he drives and what the bishop drives and all of this other kind of foolishness. Um, so they have lost a sense of what the real business of the church is, which is that Matthew 28. When I was hungry, you fed me. When I was naked, you clothed me. When I was in jail, you visited me. That's the business of the church. And so you need resources to handle the business, the real business. But we've made the business just building bigger buildings that nobody goes to except for twice a week for about an hour. So yeah, the end of that, yes, we need to get back right with God. I would say as an apostolic Bishop Hankerson, it's a good mix of COGIC, preacher, historian, teacher, evangelist, and he is ecumenical. Those are all true. I agree with all those statements. I agree with all those statements. No, no, he would just be a general board member if this were to happen. Um, you know, Bishop Owens was removed or voted out in favor of Bishop G. Patterson, but he stayed on the general board till he died. So, you know, that's not unusual. Um, it happens. Doesn't happen often, but it does happen. Um, Wouldn't appears to respect COGIC bylaws and positions. The depth of that conversation, Sister Monroe, is deeper than tonight is. Um, I mean, it's just the truth. It's the breaking that down just would take probably 2 hours of time because it's a lot in our books. It's a lot in our bylaws. It's a lot, um, and many of those. The misconception is that the Church of God in Christ is a historically dogmatic, um, holiness or hell church. And really, what the mission of Bishop Mason was not the holiness of hell, but the holiness without no man can see God. That's what our focus is as the Church of God in Christ was supposed to be. Um, and so uh, I don't have a problem with anything that Bishop Wooden does, truthfully. I just don't think it necessarily fits at the top of leadership because you got to, and I heard, uh, I understood the last comment about business, but unfortunately, business is what you have to consider if you're going to be a general board member because that's a member of the board of directors of the corporation that is Church of God in Christ. And so your focus has to be without fail. Um, it's called a fiduciary responsibility, and that means that you have to put the organization ahead of your anything personal with you, even if it conflicts with you. And so that's literally written in our books. It's called one of the three duties of a fiduciary board member. And so that is that you will put the good of the organization ahead of your own personal beliefs or doctrines or whatever. Um, and so if he does not get to a place of understanding that putting the church in jeopardy, it's one thing when you are a pastor of a church in North Carolina and you're talking about certain people. It's another thing when you're the head of one of the largest denominations in the world and you're singling out specific people that can catch you a lawsuit. So, you know, I don't think the respect of the positions and the bylaws of the church is the issue. I think not knowing how to go in and out amongst the people uh, is an issue for me. Oh, well, tell Auntie we said happy birthday. That's Evangelist Nikki Young, Dallas, Texas. I am in your area. Um, and tell Auntie you could have invited me. I would have come. Yeah, yeah, that's my point. These other organizations are finding, PCAF, all of them finding success doing what we used to do. And we're finding people leaving the Church of God in Christ to go to them who do what we used to do because we don't do it anymore. Absolutely. Yeah, it was a shock to me too, Kelly. That was a shock. Um, I mean, I don't know why it's a shock to me. Uh, PW growing, uh, Pilgrim growing, and what's crazy is a lot of them are growing off our platform because we keep inviting them and giving them great exposure on COGIC platforms, and then as soon as they leave, then they remind everybody that they understand one God, one faith, one baptism, and anybody who's believing in three is crazy. But we'll preach anywhere. It just why we do what we do, I do not know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There is, and a lot of people don't get it. People think I don't like Bishop Wood. I don't know him to dislike him. I don't I don't have a problem with what he preaches. But it's no different. See, he's not a Kim Burrell. Kim Burrell is a worldwide figure, right? So when Kim Burrell said something about the gays in her Kojic church, everybody from Ellen DeGeneres to Jimmy Kimmel to CNN had something to say about it. So when you get to certain levels of notoriety in this church, it hits different when you talk. And he doesn't, I don't, he's saying he's never going to change that. And I have to believe him. And so, yeah, he would be polarized and cause unnecessary conflict. That's all I'm trying to say. It's not whether or not he's saying what we believe. We know what we believe. But it's the same reason that Bishop Blake got up in West Angeles after Earl Carter and had to say, hold on, wait a second, we love everybody. We embrace everybody. As the leader, I got to come out and say this. not because Earl Carter was preaching anything that we don't believe. He didn't. Earl Carter was preaching a traditional Church of God in Christ Pentecostal message. And he was talking to the bishops anyway when he was talking about that. But anyway, go back and watch it. But the problem was it got elevated because of the platform. It got elevated because of the platform. And as a result, it became a problem for the church. And when you don't understand that, you may be capable or you may be qualified to be in that position, but it doesn't mean you're capable to handle being in that position. It's a great question. It's a great question. I understand it. Unfortunately, there's no putting the genie back in the bottle of exposure. Everybody's got a phone these days, which means everybody has a camera, and you just have to assume that at any given time. Now, I don't think we ought to be scared of the world. I don't think we should. It's just that today we live in a litigious society. And so you have to balance, because your job as a general board member is to not get us into lawsuits, but to make sure we stay out. So there's a balance. Yeah, I get it, Sister Monroe. I get that. Yeah, yeah. That's all I'm saying. It's a wider lens. It's a different look when you get there, and you got to know that. You just have to. You just got to know it. Uh, that was one of the problems with Kim, is because at the time Kim was the vice president of the International Music Department. Horrible look. Um, because again, many of your top leaders go in and out amongst these same people, by the way. And I think Bishop Wooden is going to be in for a surprise when he gets there. Maybe he won't be surprised because he probably already knows what really goes on. But it, if you know, you know. Is historically is serving one term an indictment on the presiding bishop or the General Assembly? I don't think either one. I don't think either one. Um, Bishop Owens, I think anytime in this church, when you find a leader that appears to abuse his power and become a bully and put all of his guys in place and do all of these other sorts of things, I think it is inevitable that you will become a one-term presiding bishop. Inevitable. And Bishop Owens worked real hard to become a one-term presiding bishop. He went from the boy wonder of the church. I mean, he was, I think, the youngest ever general board member at like 43. Bishop Owens was well respected orator and preacher. Um, had a great work in Georgia. Uh, but when he got in there and he started, trying to move and shift people around who he felt were not loyal to him or didn't support him, yeah, that's eventually going to catch up with you. So I think a one term is an indictment on that particular presiding bishop, um, because you don't know what a person's going to do till they get in there. Some people you can kind of guess. I'm not shocked by anything that's happened in the past 3.5 years. Some people you can kind of guess. You kind of know what that's going to look like. Bishop Owens was kind of a surprise. because he had been there so long, you just would have assumed. Uh, but you know, most of our most of the people who become presiding bishops, I keep telling folks this, most of the people who become presiding bishops in this church fought to become presiding bishops. They said they wanted it. Bishop Owens let that be known when Bishop J.O. Patterson died. And so you had the whole thing with Bishop Ford, and would he be allowed to finish out, and then they allowed him to finish out, and that was contentious, and then and Bishop Owens wanted it then, and so that we get that famous saying from Bishop Ford, the election is over, you know, and so we're moving on, and so why? Because there was contention, there was fighting, there was, people wanted it, so yeah. Okay, Nikki, thank you. Let me know. I'd be happy to come. I'm sorry that you left the church. Most of the time, it's not the church. Most of the time, it's people in the church. And if they don't follow the Constitution, it doesn't really matter. Well, you know what, though? Okay, so the question is, since the Church of God in Christ organizational structure is modeled after U.S. government, do you think there should be term limits for the office of presiding bishop? That's a good question. If I was to answer right now, I would say no. The only limit that we have is age right now. We only have the limit of age, and that's 76. Um, that's the only limit that we have. But there's an exception to that. That if the person is already in office and they are in good health, then they can run for one more 4-year term. So really, it caps at 80. Um, but if you're not in good health, then it ends at 76. So, but do I think it should be like the U.S. president? You get 2 terms and then you're out of there. I don't know. I don't. I would have to say no right now, because it takes time to kind of establish, first of all, leadership. Second of all, implement vision and get the church to support it. If you're doing it right, you're presenting that to the General Assembly every session that, we'd like to do this, we'd like to do that. You're getting permission from the General Assembly to go ahead and do it, and then you're implementing it. So the process in and of itself, I don't think can be done in one term. I think by the time you get to the second term, you ought to be at the end of whatever you were trying to do at the first term, and then let's see what those results are. So yeah, I wouldn't say right now. I do think age limits are good, but term limits not necessarily. I wouldn't say necessarily. Okay, good. Somebody's disagreeing with me. What I say? The Earl Carter. Okay, I disagree, Bishop. The Earl Carter situation wasn't because of him. It was because Bishop Porter didn't have to serve. You're 100% right. You're 100% right. And if I didn't say that, then I overlooked it because I did think it. But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. It didn't matter what Bishop Porter did. The backlash was about what Dr. Carter said, which nobody knew outside of Bishop Porter making Andrew Caldwell go viral. Here is a little sidebar to that, though. Prior to convocation, the book that Andrew Caldwell was promoting, I'm Not Gay No More, he wrote that before convocation. A lot of people don't know this. He came with the intent to do that. Anybody who thinks Andrew Caldwell is ignorant or stupid, you might want to go find out about it. Stupid people don't get booked on don't get major television shows and major book deals and major radio shows. And he's far from that was intentional. He intended to do that. And so I agree with you on the fact that Bishop Porter did not discern that. That was intentional. And so, you can go and find that for yourselves. But yeah, he had already written the book and intended to do that at the convocation. Again, this is somebody who grew up in Bishop Wooten's church. Bishop Wooten is his pastor. Lawrence Wooten is his pastor. Been his pastor since he was a child. Still his pastor today. Okay. This is not an unconnected young man. Please understand that. Most of y'all probably didn't know that either. Grew up sitting in Bishop Wooten's lap and being guided by him. So this is sometimes what you see and what y'all see. I promise you. Sometimes what you see ain't what you see. Thank you, Sister Monroe. I appreciate that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So we see the numbers, we see what it's looking like. So let's have the conversation. Because I'm tripping. And I may disappoint some of you, so I'm just going to tell you that right off the bat. So I get a text earlier this week from that came from a very high-ranking leader in this church. That's right, Dr. Hutton. They don't. Very high-ranking leader in this church, who informed me. We all talked about the region, whatever this thing was in Southern California, that they were calling some sort of regional rally, blah blah blah, and that the presiding bishop was at, and trying to figure out why certain people were there and what that was all about and all of that sort of thing. So this official, I was informed that and I do have the video, that Bishop Blake endorsed Bishop Sheard. But the reason being, from my understanding, and I'm just saying it like that, I know it to be real, because from what I'm told, Bishop Macklin has said he is not running for presiding bishop and does not want to be presiding bishop, that he will not challenge Bishop Sheard. I was very disappointed to hear that, and so I reached out to some people who are inside of his camp, who basically confirmed that, and said that they were disappointed. So I don't, if Bishop Macklin reaches out and says, no, that ain't real, then I'll let you know. But outside of that, I tend to believe the words of this official, um, because of who he is. In addition to that, uh, and I'm going to tell you right now, I do not believe this is going to happen, but my understanding is that, and I've shared with you all, that I feel some kind of way that Bishop Dillard, who I support, I like uh, immensely, had not really kind of stepped up to make his push. But what I was told was that he as well has told Bishop Sheard's people uh, um, that he will not challenge Bishop Sheard for presiding bishop at this juncture. I don't know that I believe that wholly. I believe it was said. Um, um, from what I have gathered, what has been said to me, um, you know what, Nikki, I am not doing this with you tonight. Uh, yeah, I think Bishop Macklin at this point um, makes a great uh, advisor, but the other side too is that a lot of the controversies that have happened over the past 3.5 years, um, Bishop Macklin has abstained from voting, and so that doesn't help, um, because for you to be the longest serving general board member and you know the church and you know the Constitution, why are you abstaining from some things? Some things the church has been through in the past few years. I mean, I don't know why his voice couldn't have been a voice of leadership there. The abstaining from votes, um, kind of what appears to be a lack of interest, um, to some degrees. It does bother me. It does, again, when you look at those who become leaders in this church, they did that by telling you what they thought was wrong with the other leader. Because if there's nothing wrong with the leader, then what are you running for? If there's nothing wrong, what are we talking about? What is the use of getting rid of Bishop Sheard if nobody thinks anything is wrong? Um, so to be told that the top two, um, in a lot of people's minds, the top two um, considerations are saying they're not going to even challenge. Um, I don't know what this is. Um, question is, are they being threatened? That was not what I was told. I was told that one was a call that came from Bishop Dillard's camp to Bishop Sheard's people. Um, that this was not necessarily a direct conversation between the two of them, but that really that thing in Southern California was about solidifying um, support. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's more to this um, than meets the eye. There is. So I don't know if you guys remember, but in 2012 and 2016, uh, the delegates did not vote to keep Bishop Blake per se. Okay, we didn't vote for presiding bishop. what they did was, uh, one year I think it may have been Bishop Brooks, and the other year it was somebody else. I don't know, maybe Bishop Wells. I'm not sure who it was, but in both of those years, one of the general board members stood up after the vote for the general board and said, I move, Brother Chairman, I move and make a motion that we keep Bishop Blake as the presiding bishop. He's been doing such a good job. I vote that we um, keep him. And then um, one of the other general board members said, I second the motion. And then the chairman of the General Assembly put that motion on the floor. And that's how Bishop Blake stayed in office. And there was one discussion happening somewhere, and Bishop Talbot Swan was on one side of it, and I was on another side of it. And he intimated that that was, he didn't like what I had to say about that. I'm still saying the same thing because it was unconstitutional. And he said, well, it was a vote by acclamation. Most of you, may not know what that is. That was something that the Catholic Church did in like the 14th, 15th century, and then even they got rid of that. So it's not a thing that people do. It's just not a thing. But it's unconstitutional in our church. And so the way our Constitution operates is that we vote for candidates of the general board, and then among those, this is why I did this vote this way, from among those we choose or select someone to preside over that board. That's what we do. And it's not, you got to be there 5 years and all this other foolishness. No, we pick the 12, and then from the 12 we pick one. And that's what we do. Um, so my understanding is that is because Bishop Blake kind of set that pattern. It's completely unconstitutional. Um, that's what they're going to try to do um, this year in November. Is basically say nobody wants it. We support the presiding bishop, um, and that's kind of going to be how they do that. Is what it's looking like right now. Okay. Um, I wish that were not true. I wish that was not in my information basket. Um, I hope they do better. I hope they follow the Constitution. Um, that's my biggest hope, is that they just simply follow the Constitution. It shouldn't be that hard to do. Um, at the end of the day, I'll say what I said before. The general board cannot pick its own leader. That's why we don't have votes of acclamation. That's why the general board can't say, if you're on it, I don't want to be presiding bishop. Then you don't want to be on the general board. Because it's the people who decide. From the general board members, who do we want to lead? Who do we have faith in? Um, I don't know. I mean, the church may want to go all the way, I was going to say left, but really right with Bishop Wooden. Uh, perhaps, the church likes the route that they're on. Perhaps the church wants to go a different route with Bishop Dillard, or perhaps Bishop Hankerson. Yeah, I don't even know what they're doing. The fact that the Board of Trustees apparently has allowed Mason Temple to be rented out, leased out for office space to some company. You would never see the Mormons leasing out their space in Salt Lake City for rent money. What? I thought we were. I thought we were debt free. We need rent money that bad? Thank you, sir. You just reminded them. Say it loud one more time. Be proud. The presiding bishop is the CEO of the board, not the church. That's just what it is. But every CEO of every corporation represents that corporation. Mark Zuckerberg represents, uh, Facebook. Just is what it is. But he answers to stockholders. Yeah, I've been saying it. Mason Temple is a saint. You literally have the body, the remains of Bishop Charles Harrison Mason entombed in the building that is now being used as just rental office space. The place where miracles took place, the place where we used to have crutches and canes and wheelchairs hanging on the door. Am I serious? Yes, I'm dead serious. Yes, it's in the report. Bishop Sheard is quite proud of it. That's really happening. That's right. The place where Martin Luther King gave his mountaintop speech. Um, yeah, is being leased out. Office space is being leased. I just. Yes, All Saints, the school in uh, Mississippi is currently being used as a banquet hall. Man, come on, young. If you ain't from Dallas, you don't understand it. But yeah, um, it's crazy. And so that's the space that they got the $1 million to, that they're supposed to start converting it into some sort of technology, space, education. I don't know. But again, I would like to be upset with Bishop Sheard, and to a certain degree, he's only done a couple of things that I just think disqualify him. That leasing out space at Mason Temple is the number one. Well, the problem though, Phil, is that he's rolling over his grave in Mason Temple and turning over in somebody's at the copy machine. It's just a weird thing. Like you would never go to Indianapolis and see that at the PAW headquarters. That ain't happening. You're never going to the Vatican and saying, "Hey, you know what? I'm looking for some space for my startup, and look like y'all got some empty offices up there." That's never happening. You're never going to Southern Baptist, the SBC headquarters, and like who. But see, then people think that I personally got a personal, dog in the fight. Like, it's just, come on, man, who does that? Absolutely, they do, they do. I mean, some of these things we shouldn't even be talking about because it shouldn't even be happening. Might as well. Might as well. And so when you say, the board of trustees, yeah, that's a problem because what's your job? To protect and maintain the properties of the Church of God in Christ. I just don't. And see, here's again, the General Assembly voted against that. So how did it happen anyway? If all votes of the General Assembly are final, and the General Assembly has the ability to override anything that the General Board or the presiding bishop has done, then how did it get done anyway? That's a General Assembly question for the chairman. That's who that question is for. How, see, because I know people want to blame Bishop Shear. That's like blaming any president. Any president they got the agenda, they got stuff they want to do. But it only gets done if the House and the Senate allows it. Somebody's got to put that on the floor and then vote for it and then let it happen. Yeah, I don't know how they have office space. They supposedly have 200 employees over there. At least that's what they wrote on the PPP loans. So, look, y'all. This is where we breathe and we say, this is not a Trump site. So if you're going to call something fake, you got to kind of tell me what you're talking about. I'll wait. I agree. Love Bishop. Love Bishop Shelby. Love Bishop Shelby. But now, Nikki, I got time for that, right? You do know I got time for that. Good evening, Sister Kelly. Thank you so much for chiming in from Cali. Good to see you tonight. Evangelist Young, as long as it stays one, I got time for it. Um, as a matter of fact, one of my closest friends is a very close friend to Dr. Glenn, and I like Dr. Glenn. I don't know enough about their process, but I do know Dr. Glenn has good work at home and has a very successful ministry at home. They kind of operate different um, than us. So, a lot of leadership is more um, for national back. Oh, y'all don't know what I'm talking about. There was a question. My thoughts on the National Baptist Convention because they're having elections too. Um, so they operate a little bit different than us. You can, you can be Baptist and be part of a district association or not. Um, you can be part of the convention or not. Um, so you know that's kind of where we are. Uh, Now, Evangelist Young, you know what I'm getting ready to do, right? You know what time it is on the Heat. If y'all watch the Heat, then y'all know what's getting ready to happen. Because uh, when people come on this platform and challenge whether or not something I'm saying is true, then uh, Evangelist Young knows that my next step is to produce receipts because, receipts are everything. Uh, and if you don't have them, then, you just making a lot of noise. And since I'm not one that likes to make a lot of noise, then what I prefer to do, uh, uh, this church is partnering. You know this coming, right? You do know that this is coming. You got to know. Uh, uh, and then see that's the other, and I have been told that too because I know Bishop Hankerson watches. Uh, really, uh, he's a contemporary that I admire. So man, he's tech savvy. Bishop Hankerson tech savvy. He on top of stuff. Um, so what there's actually three things that's happening with our church. We have partnered um, with that historic tour and some other things. Uh, but I love it, Sister Young. I love it when people tell me what's not happening in this church. It makes me feel good because then I have to show you um, why I work so hard and why I tell y'all to do this show is work for me. Um, because I don't ever just want to tell you something. So, no, I ain't gonna give you the black book. I'm gonna just tell you where to go. There you go. Y'all see it. Oh, did I? Oh, I guess that was fake news. Huh. Sister Collier, that was fake news. Since last updated September 2024, that was fake news, right? I'm sending out fake news. Sir, don't come over here with that trash. You better know what you're talking about when you come over here talking. Okay? This is a whole, I know, it's hard to believe, right? It's hard to believe. Y'all see it? Contact about Mason Temple Church of God in Christ headquarters. Y'all see that? Or is that just me that can see that? I know it ain't just me that can see it. Y'all see it? The Church of God in Christ Global Headquarters Rental Experience. Well, did somebody say fake news over here? Sir, get your game up before you come over here talking. We don't do that over here. You can rent out some scooters, some strollers, some wheelchairs for your experience. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, we don't, we don't play games like that over here. And that's just one of the places. You can also go to the there's a tour that you can take. As a matter of fact, last time I was in Memphis, they had some tourists from another country that was just in the church taking pictures and all kind of stuff. But see, and I get that feel. I do. Um, I don't know. They took that stuff off the. They took all that stuff off. That stuff is not on the walls of Mason Temple anymore. Um, I mean, it's just. Yeah, you can take a tour with the U.S. Civil Rights Trail. There's plenty of organizations that you can book a tour of Mason Temple through TripAdvisor, um, Expedia, Mason Temple Tours. Plan a trip to see Mason Temple, a self-guided walking tour. Okay, okay. Hornsby and Long is in the building. Good to see those two regional superintendents in the building. Hope I'm not embarrassing y'all too bad tonight. They try to keep me up. Yeah, I mean, I remember when Mason Temple was open all, 24 hours a day. Man, people were going. You could almost walk by and get a healing out, just walking by Mason Temple. But, now you can take a tour and take pictures. It's, self-guided. Yeah, yeah. That's what it says on Expedia anyway. Okay, Jalen says Dylan already working on his administrative staff. I was telling the people, Jalen, uh, that I understand what has necessarily been said by Bishop Dillard, but I don't necessarily believe that to be true. But I do kind of believe that perhaps he wants the people to select him. He doesn't want to be seen as. But I don't know how you run without running. I think you got to run. I think you got to run. I don't know any I don't know any other bishop that would I don't know anybody that would rent out the headquarters of a denomination. I just don't. I don't know who. I don't know who does this. I don't know. Unless you just see it as property, right? So if it's just property, then yeah, okay, I get it. But if it's a sacred, hallowed ground, that is it's kind of the same reason why they can keep trying to move the convocation to anywhere but Memphis. Because if it doesn't mean anything to you, uh, my little brother's in the building. King Jives is in the building. Man, I need to send you. Come holler at me. Come holler at me, King. How do I send this to you? I thought you was busy with the show right now. Because Jalen ain't gonna come on and talk to me. I don't know what Jalen got going on tonight. I don't know how to find the links to this. Let me figure out how to send this link. Oh, you say okay. Jive said he was asleep. Well, welcome back to the lane. You go to bed at you know 6 p.m. like old people. Temple of the Deliverance still going strong. Um, Bishop Milton Hawkins is doing exactly what he's supposed to do. Yeah, I mean they have basically. I mean they basically gotten rid of all of the. Okay, I think I just figured it out. Okay, okay. Y'all forgive me for just 1 second. So I copied it. Now what I do? Oh, Charles, what do I do now? Send it to your email. Text it to your phone. Okay. Let me see how I can do that without cutting off stream. Hold on 1 second. Okay. So let's do that. One second. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. There we go. Okay. Okay. So I know y'all can hear me. Okay. I tell y'all, I am the most used to having somebody else doing stuff person. Okay. So now let's okay. Am I back? Can y'all hear me? Somebody tell me y'all can hear me. Thank you, Sister Kelly. Help a brother out. Help a brother out. How many convocations have I attended this summer? I've actually I actually cut back this summer. I've had, so many people who have died um, that I actually, haven't gone to a lot of convocations this year because I've been busy, um, with stuff like that. So it's just been this has been a trying year for me on a personal level. Um, and then to still keep up and fight for the church and do things of that nature. Um, it can get taxing on you if you are not careful, um, and it has taken a certain toll. If I'm just being honest, so I haven't been to a lot of convocations um, this year. Uh oh, it's gonna be a problem now. It is definitely getting ready to be a problem.
Hey Bishop,
What's going on? What's going on, little bro? How are you, man?
I am good. I'm actually just waking up.
Well, welcome to the land of the living with the rest of us.
Yes, we are rising and well, thank the Lord.
Ah, I have to talk to you when you half asleep because when you're fully awake, it can be a
Thank God for my half sleeping, so I ain't gonna be
problem.
cussing nobody out right now.
Ah, man, you did you see the election results?
I've been seeing bits and pieces, so I think it says something about Elijah Anderson and
Yes, sir.
Dillard.
Yes, sir.
Well, that sounds good,
Sister
except
Kelly
I
says
would
your
want.
background noise is too loud. They expect you to be a professional at all times, even when you wake up out your sleep to come holler at
Can you hear me now?
me. Yes, sir.
Well, I I wouldn't want Elijah as my presiding.
Hmm.
Dillard, that's a
Tell
different
me why.
story.
That's
I would.
interesting. That's interesting. Tell me why.
You said, well, is it my noise or your noise?
That's yours. I got nothing going on
Let me try to fix this.
here. Okay. It says your TV, King.
Okay, what about now?
I can hear you. This is a lot of feedback. I don't hear the feedback anymore. Okay, say something. Let's hear how you.
I'm actually on my earpods and they sound horrible.
Yeah, you kind of sound like you're underwater a little bit.
Hold on, let me put my other one in. I'm gonna close
Okay.
this one out.
Okay.
Oh, this is horrible. Okay, Bishop, how's that?
I can hear you either way. Can y'all hear? Can y'all hear Jives? Y'all tell us what's happening.
Okay. I'm actually just using my phone today. I'm not even, and I should probably just get my laptop and do that. But the reason why I say Dillard is because Dillard has more tenure in serving, and he actually has works. You know, he's a community person, and I know that to be true because I've seen it. And he's been out, you know, serving in the community, working with different leaders, working with different council members, all throughout Memphis, working in different capacities and things of that nature. Please bear with me because like I said, I'm just waking up. So yeah.
No, you good. You good. We can hear you. You
And
good.
Elijah Hankerson, what really let me down with him was his whole resume. And if he is listening, Bishop Elijah Hankerson, if you are listening, no slight, no shade to you, but that was not a resume of work. That was a resume of just doing church stuff. And to me, that's trash and that's garbage because we want to see what you have done working wise, involvement in the communities, because what makes a good leader is how you serve in the community, not how and what you preached.
Now let me say this about Bishop Hankerson though. Bishop Hankerson did a couple of things um, on the national level. One of which he grew the evangelism department significantly under him. Kind of made a comeback. Some it probably had not been that strong since I would have to say probably maybe Chairman Dennis Martin or maybe Chairman Willie James Campbell. So I thought that was good. He got a lot of younger evangelists in there. And then the other thing is he took the focus back to the evangelism department versus the evangelist department. Um, he insisted that they understood that evangelism was about outreach and not about preaching. So I thought his focus in understanding what a national church department was about um, was something different. Um, that's not to say I would endorse him to be presiding bishop, um, especially not necessarily over. I agree with you when it comes to Bishop Dillard. Um, you know, it's kind of tough to argue with the success of AIM as really the most successful meeting that we've had in what 3-4 years probably.
You talking about AIM that he conducted?
Yeah, that Dillard since in these past 3 or 4 years. I'm just
Yeah.
talking about the last 3 or 4 years. AIM has been more like a convocation. Okay, he's gonna switch his whatchamacallit. Okay, let's see if he's back. Okay, King, you there? Oh,
Does
we can see you now. Oh, we can see you now.
is
Man,
it
what
sound
is that?
better?
The ocean behind you? What is that? The ocean behind you?
No, I'm at
Really?
I'm at a resort right now.
I can tell. I can tell. I'm looking at your background. What's going on? You at the resort hanging out? You still celebrating your birthday, man?
No, today's actually my grandmother's birthday.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So Kelly said that handsome face has joined the. You made my platform look. That's the first handsome all night long. So Kelly's gonna ban you. I'm gonna ban you, Angela. Come over to as soon as Jives come on. Now we talk about the handsome. How we do? You know what? See, that's all right. That's my little brother. I can handle it.
I'll tell you this, Bishop. I'll tell you this. It sounds I haven't seen the results yet,
Yeah.
but I'll say this. I've been saying if you go, well, you can go back and look at
There
all
was
the
another thing that just happened on the line, Jives. There was an anointing that just happened on the line. The anointing just hit the line. The Lord is revealing. What's going on, St. James?
You can go back and look at all of my videos. I remember I said COGIC was for sale probably 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And things that individuals have been doing is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Sounds horrible.
Yes, Holy Redeemer is still Church of God of Christ. They are in Illinois 6 jurisdiction.
So I feel like if you don't get somebody in there who can conduct business,
Yeah,
and got some spirit, I'm not gonna say that this church is going to be null and void, but it's going to be we're going to be worse than PAW.
I would say this. And you tell me you can disagree. I'm sure you will. I'm trying to keep my finger. I this camera right here. See, here goes St. James.
St. James, let me tell you something. St. James is just talking ish right now. That's all. That's
I'm finna shock him though. I'm finna shock him. Listen, I'm being really honest right now. If I were voting today, I got a real problem with people not saying that they want to be the leader. I got a real problem with that.
I got a problem with people not campaigning. Like, what do y'all want to do?
That's a problem for me, and because
and then people being scared.
Yeah, because that's not happening. And I told y'all I was going to shock y'all when it came when this was over. But as it stands right now, I'm not a Sheard fan, and I'd vote for Bishop Sheard.
You got a who?
I would vote for Bishop Sheard, and I'm not even a Sheard fan. I don't support him.
I don't even have sound effects. But
I know. I told you you were, but you didn't ask me why. And you a media person, so you should have known to ask that question.
Well, I'm the person that will vote for Sheard, so I'm not gonna ask you why. So.
I know that you would. But here's the thing, though, Jives. Nobody's running.
They running, but they're not running.
Nobody's running.
I'm gonna say it again.
Bishop G.E. Patterson. Thank you for asking. Bishop G.E. Patterson did not throw a rock and hide his hand. Bishop G.E. Patterson made a whole 15-minute documentary commercial to tell you why Bishop Chandler David Owens did not need to be the presiding bishop. He told you what was wrong with him. He told you what he did wrong to the church. He told you what his vision was for the church, and he told you why you should vote for him. And then he said, I want your vote. That's what leaders do. If you don't think nothing wrong with the leadership, then why should I give you my vote? Because you're not even telling me what's wrong right now. nor are you telling me what you're going to do different. And when you don't do that, it's hard for me to support you because you're not telling me something is wrong. So what am I supposed to? I can believe is wrong, something wrong all day. But if you don't believe something is wrong, then what are we replacing you with? Bishop Shear keeps trying to do crazy things. But there are 11 other people who keep allowing that craziness to happen. Don't forget, presiding bishop can't do anything without a majority vote of the general board. So tell me what 6 people are voting with him.
This is my I got sound effects.
Look, y'all seeing how friendship really works. This is how friendship really works. We don't have to. And again, I'm not even. And you know this about me. You know this. You know that is not a support I've ever given, ever. But you know, I always just look at things from the perspective of reality. Like I'm looking from. It's just very black and white for me. It's nothing. I can't have it be personal because at the end of the day, then the next thing I have to look at is, okay, do these people really fit great on the board? Linwood Dillard fits great on the board. Don Shelby fits great on the board. These are people that will not fall over. They're not just going to do whatever to get along. Now you know that about Linwood Dillard. If you know he's that guy. He's a fighter, and he ain't just going to let anything happen. But he has to say that he wants to be presiding bishop. And I don't know what you do if you don't say it. I mean.
Case closed. Next case.
Oh, I got a pee in my Bishop Wooden voice. Oh God. What say you?
When it comes down to Sheer, I still have not seen outside of him supporting his boys and putting his yes men in position. I still have not seen anything that he's done at all.
I said that earlier. I completely agree. I don't know what he's done.
Yeah.
In real life. But then again, you got to tell me though, Jives. You got Bishop MACKLIN abstaining from most votes. You've got everybody else saying I'm only on here to support the presiding bishop. And if the people coming on, who have a great chance of getting on, don't want to be that guy, then what do we have?
I'm not gonna cuss. I'm too tired.
It's in your head, though. It is in your head.
It's very much so in my head.
It's written all over your face. You don't have to say a word.
The way I honestly feel is that I have sat here for, I'll even say since I moved back to Florida, and I have watched just any and everything go on for the sake of a person being popular and still ain't got no oil, no anointing, no gifting, no talent. Every time I turn around, it's like we're throwing Karen up to sing, and seemingly breadwinner of the house, and she's having to carry everything because honestly, what does her husband do? Nothing but run around and preach these half messages, and it's like I'd rather see the Church of God in Christ flourish and blossom, and this may sound real bad, but I'd rather see the Church of God in Christ move forward like the Assemblies of God. The Assemblies of
Okay.
God have a whole headquarters. They have a whole business structure, and their board does not look like the good old boys club.
Mm-hmm.
And they're actually doing business.
I
We're
mean,
not.
Assemblies of God left us and became a multi-billion-dollar denomination. That's just the reality. That's just the reality. And of course, I was saying that 3 years ago. There's the whole purpose of me pushing so hard for Bishop Daniels. I know that Bishop Dillard has that within him too. I would not just I would not blindly even say I would support Bishop Sheard. It would have to take some changes. He would have to change his advisors. He would have to change the people around him. I still have not heard a vision. Um, yeah, you're right, Murray. Um, um, but I don't know any other way to be. It just is. I'm looking for the person who has the vision for the church. That's number one. Number two, the person that puts the Constitution ahead of their own personal interests. And then number three, the person that I remember when Bishop G. Patterson got in. I don't know if you remember this, Jives. He said he follows two books, the Constitution and the Bible. He said, and that's how you govern as presiding bishop. If those two books don't guide you, is my sound real bad?
You sound fine over here.
Okay, all right.
Well, actually, there's a little feedback.
A little feedback. Okay, I think I turned the other device off. I think, and I still haven't figured it out. I don't know if Bishop Sheard is just as bad, or if he has really bad advisors. I don't know if he's got. I know he's got bad advisors. I keep trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, man. What, here's the thing. Here's the thing. When you become the leader, I don't care how you got there. You become the leader of the whole church. And I want to see anybody who's the leader of our church succeed. My problem is, what I don't know is, does he have really bad advisors, or does he have good advisors that he don't listen to? And I don't know.
Okay. So I'm gonna say, and I know I'm not on my show, but I feel like, and I'm not even gonna call him Bishop. I feel like J. Drew Sheard has gotten there, and this has gotten to be, let's collect money as long as we can possible, because when we're out, we're out. There has been no significant change within this organization. There has been no significant, like, it's just been mundane and routine, and it's just been church as usual, and nothing has been beneficial for anybody but and his little crew. And what really pisses me off is that everybody says, "Oh, you're mad, you're upset, you're upset." They didn't pick, oh God, Bishop Daniels, and I said, "He's dead. What am I supposed to be mad about? The man's dead." I'm looking at the fact that this is a organization that is 120 some years old, and this is where we are. Our leadership cannot even direct us and even be excited about, good things coming. We can't even be excited about that because we're down. We're so low now. We're in a convention hall exhibit. When we were
maximum seating 10,000 people.
When we were filling FedEx forums and domes, we were filling domes. Yes, Bishop Miller, we progressive leadership.
I think Murray. I think that we are. Um, I think we are where we are because we refuse to accept what is reality. I love having Jives on tonight because watch this. Um, Tonight you are articulating, not pontificating about him, but you're articulating from a policy standpoint what your problem and what the problem is. And you know, that's the thing that I love to have those kinds of conversations that are bigger than the personalities to say, wait a minute. First of all, Bishop Shear did not come in telling us what his plan was. He just didn't do
And,
it.
and
Brandon
Bishop,
Porter did. Senator
that's
Daniels
what I
did.
said initially.
Yeah, he came in, as someone said in the comments, hey, we're gonna go back to Memphis and shout and dance. Okay, when we get through shouting and dancing, what is your five pillars? What are the things that you, from the presiding bishop standpoint, not playing around with this, we're gonna make all the deacons credential holders, or we're gonna do this with the women. No, what is your plan for give the General Assembly something to vote for? Did you ever plan to come to the General Assembly with what you wanted to do and get approval first? Because all that's been being done is you go do something and then come back and tell us you did it. But that's not how our church operates. And the reason it doesn't is because we believe from our Constitution that there's wisdom in a multitude of counsel. So you put it on the floor, and the delegates we argue about it. We articulate about it, and then finally you put it for a vote, and we say, you know what? Okay, Bishop, we're gonna give you an opportunity to go do that. Bishop Daniels had a proper vision. I won't even say that Bishop. I'm not going to get to this with John, but Bishop Porter he actually had a vision.
No, I'm not going. I'm not going to disagree with you on that. One, my former pastor and Bishop Brandon Burdett Porter, actually had something to say.
Yes.
And even though, Bishop Porter can be a lot of things, but Bishop Porter is a businessman. He's a hustler.
That's right.
But a businessman.
Absolutely.
He
makes things happen.
And he will, if Bishop Porter gets his mind to it, he is going to run with it. Now, in the forefront, in front of the people, Luffy is going to respect but he is going to do what he is going to do. And that's why I've always respected him. When it came down to GCT, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of things that need to be done. But Bishop Porter has always been about making stuff happen. When he gets his mind to it, he's going to make some stuff happen.
And he's not, Bishop Porter's not a punk. Bishop Porter ain't soft. He going to stand on what he stand on. I like that about him. A lot of people don't know that about him, but he's like that. He really is built like that in real life. He Memphis for real. And, y'all don't see it, but, the cameras are off. He all Memphis. He not that dude. But Bishop Dillard is like that too. These are Memphis guys. They really fight in real life. And don't have no problem standing on their own 2 feet. Bishop Hines has been like that in the past. I don't know if he's like that now, though.
I can honestly say that if Bishop Porter ever had a problem with me, or had a question about anything, that man has my cell phone number, and he will use it.
Yeah. He's like that, and he pays attention to everything. And if his name is in it and he got a problem, he gonna call you. You don't know. You ain't gonna have to guess whether or not he felt in some kind of way.
And,
I like
and for people to say that I'm disgruntled or I'm mad at the church or whatever, I think you go back, even with you and I, if you go back and look at the history of everything that we've been saying, you'll see that we have been voicing our concerns about the church for years.
Yep.
And people don't like the fact that we are people that we vocalize. Because again, you don't want the April call meeting to be publicized. You don't want everybody to see how you guys act at the April call meeting, how y'all actually cuss somebody out at the April call meeting, how you all say one thing and even lie in April call and then do something else. People have had to sneak and record, and they've sent things to me that has gone on, and then they've done something totally different.
Well, you know now if they catch someone in there, Houston has implemented this thing to where if they see somebody with their phone up or something like that, they escort them out, and then they will trespass them from the property so that they can't come back into none of the things. And I keep trying to tell people, Jives, if you don't know how this church works, it's got a checks and balances. The people who check the presiding bishop is the general board. And they got so many on there so that you got enough to where it ought to be balanced. But the ultimate arbiter is the chairman of the General Assembly. That's supposed to be the ultimate check and balance is the General Assembly. And if the person who's leading that ain't saying, hey, we got a problem, then it never gets to the floor. The people never vote for it. And then nothing ever happens. You can't, there's only one entity that could ever remove a church from the Church of God in Christ. General Assembly. Not a bishop, not a pastor, only General Assembly. So when you look at Florida, where the General Assembly said, nah, we good. Everything back in, everything established the way it's supposed to. How do you override it? Who enforces if the people who are checks and balances aren't enforcing what they have the power to enforce? These are the things that I say when you start looking for a presiding bishop, popularity is fine, but you better ask them the first question. What do you believe about the Constitution? Because if you don't believe the Constitution is the guide, you're not qualified. You're not qualified. If you believe the general board runs the church, you're not qualified. Mm-hmm. What happened, Josh? You must have saw something. I don't know what you saw because I ain't looking at the whatchamacallit.
I'm laughing. I'm gonna keep my cover.
What happened? You gotta tell me what happened because Gil ain't here today, so I don't know what's happening in this chat, but I know y'all had to do something.
I will say this, Bishop. I feel like between the next 5 and 10 years, if we continue on the path that we're on right now, we're going to be a complete joke. And I mean a complete joke. One thing I can't.
we go pause. So you say a prayer for Sister Kelly. She's having a whole issue right now, Reverend. She's having a whole.
That's why I just.
And you got the fire behind you and carrying on. I mean, you're doing a lot tonight. You're doing a lot tonight, little bro. You're doing a lot.
So the thing is, I will say this: when Bishop Patterson had the church, there was spirit. Mm-hmm. and there was business. When he passed and Bishop Blake got it, it was very much so business, you know. And you can tell. I mean, we were very progressive. We were very progressive. But when he started to decline and started to get sick, so did the church. It was so much stuff that was going on. You had, and then towards the end, you just had everything going on. You had William Cray, you had Andrew Caldwell, you had Earl Carter, and then you had Patrick Wooden coming out here saying something everything. And it's just like it's becoming a whole nut show.
Right.
And so my thing has always been, hey, let's get this and let's make it better. Because you got somebody out here like Beetlejuice is trying to destroy leadership. And instead of just reporting and asking for accountability, you just want to assassinate everybody. You have Earl Carter.
I'm gonna challenge you right there.
I can talk about myself too now. I can bring
but I'm gonna tell you where I'm gonna challenge you at, because I've seen it with my own eyes. At the leadership conference in Dallas, I was sitting at the table with William McCray, because I don't back up for nothing. So if I know you, I know you. If I don't, I don't. So we're sitting at the table just having a conversation. If I tell you that everybody from Lemuel Thurston on down to every bishop that was there stopped by that table, every last one of them have a conversation with him during that meeting, including general board members. These are not people that are being destroyed. These are people that are, a lot of that is in cahoots. And you and I know this because people will approach us to try to plant things, and depending on who you are, you may go for that. Now, me, I ain't going for it because I just don't have a reason to. You can't pay me enough to try to tear somebody else down. It just doesn't work for me. But that's my challenge back to you, because when you say he's doing da 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 da, I'm saying they're doing da 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 da, and they're using him to do it.
Well, maybe I should let off with that, because they have, and I mean we got the records of them doing it, with Sheard, both daddy and son. We have the records of the Sheards using Burnt Face to try to destroy another bishop just to get on the general board and then to become the presiding bishop.
But they don't just use William. There are other, now even more prominent bloggers that are used from.
Oh yeah, Larry is on the payroll. Yeah,
there are others again that,
and he's not even such a God praised.
All I'm saying is, and I said this earlier tonight in the show, because someone said, well, delegates aren't on social media savvy. Yeah, they are. It's a reason they go to Mark Moore. It's a reason, and sit down and do an interview. It's a reason that Dr. Reed can pick up the phone and call the presiding bishop at any given time. I'm not playing with you today, Jobs. I'm not getting to this. I'm not.
And that's no hate at all. I'm just, I have earned college degrees, and I ain't have to use pink lotion to get anywhere.
We're not talking about lust and lotion tonight, sir. Please, Lord have mercy. Please, you have me smelling pink lotion all night. Please don't do that to me. Here's the thing. All that I'm saying is, these people use who they use. Thank you, Jaylon. Thank you, Nikki. Not tonight. Tell him not tonight. Just tell him not tonight. Just tell him. Y'all ain't gonna know what he gonna say when I get off this air. But like I said, I mean, it's just one of those things. Now, Angela, you cannot say anything for the rest of the night because the way you in here talking, I'm a little curious about this pink lotion comments that you're making. We praying for you. Would y'all just say a prayer for Angela tonight? Just say a prayer. His Jobs is over here doing whatever he doing with this light flashing in the back. I don't. Let me say this because I understand people who say it. Jobs, you chime in here, whatever you want to. I'm not one to say we need a new COGIC per se. I'm not ready to go fully there. I'm close to there, but I'm not ready to go fully there because the problem is not the Church of God in Christ.
It's leadership.
The problem is leadership who doesn't follow the books.
Yeah.
When our church was following the books, we didn't have these issues. We had issues, but they were not public issues like this. Because most of the feelings of our leaders was really personal moral failings. They were not. They didn't affect the church. It was just they affected their families or whatever they had going on, but they didn't really affect the church other than the predators that we had in the church, and we had those, and that was an effect which came out later on down the road. I still don't think we fixed that, to be quite honest. This sexual harassment training, it doesn't really do nothing. And a background check can only tell you about people who got caught.
Okay, so how about this? We want people to take sexual harassment courses and things of that nature, but we overlook what they've done, and we smooth over different things because we need them in certain positions. And there are people now that have done things, and there's court records of them, and we still don't say anything about Bishop Jones.
Right.
You got a whole lawsuit that you're still running from.
Right.
And he's in position right now.
Yeah. Well, the first thing after suspension, Bishop Sheard made him the chairman of his inauguration committee. You didn't know? Yeah, he ran all of that. So, and again, I'm a guy with, listen, I'm a guy for forgiveness. Sometimes, because you and I know a lot of these guys, like we know them. It ain't like, like some people know people's names, but some of these people we know. It just is what it is. And so you got to balance what you know from what is real about them. Are you at an loft?
Huh?
Are you at an loft?
No, I'm
hiding. What kind of resort is this? You know what? Never mind. You tell me later.
I'm at an Airbnb, and I think everybody left me at the house. I don't know what. I knew I was doing. I know I was working, but
you know what? This is like a reality TV show at this point, y'all. But we watching them walk. It's like real world. We watch you walk through the house.
And now I can sit in here and I ain't got to be disturbed.
But yeah, man, I, you know, again, when we talk about Bishop Lakeith Jones, right? You gotta that's a board of bishops issue.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a presiding bishop issue. It's not a general board issue. They don't really have the authority, even though they try to take it. But that's a board of bishops issue. And if they didn't handle it, well, they ain't been handling stuff since the 80s. So we know how
A lot,
that politics go.
a lot of times, what you see, Bishop, is the fact that they're not going to touch it because they got their own issues. How can I sit up out here and talk about Bishop Lakeith Jones when I got my own sexual ambiguities and everything going on,
And everybody knows.
and everybody knew it? So it's like everybody just like, well, I ain't gonna say nothing. He got something going on. I got something going on. They got something going on. And it's like, listen, how about this? Why can't we? If we're gonna do ministry, right? We're gonna do ministry. Where's the top? If we're gonna really do ministry, why can't we why can't we do it and get things going and be progressive? And then when we find these situations, why can't we fix them? Get leadership in there that ain't as effed up as what's been going on. Because it's like if you look at the entire general board, it's like pretty much everybody got babies. Everybody got a nigga on the side, a female on the side, got some type of scandal going on. Not everybody, but somebody. And it's like, is anybody trying to live for something? Like,
Right.
am I the only one thinking like this?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I'm gonna answer this. I don't have a problem with creating something new. I don't think everything started when it started. It started new. The I had actually been, yeah.
Bishop,
Go ahead.
somebody said millennials and Gen Zs are running to non-denominational sectors. So here's the thing about it. I see all of these people trying to start new stuff. Here's the problem with all of these people trying to start new stuff. Everybody is doing everything that they want to do, and they're taking big pieces of Church of God in Christ, and they're trying to make it their way. They're trying to do it their way. And it's like everybody wants the look of what Church of God in Christ is, but they have no structure at all. They have no, because everybody want to wear these robes. Everybody want to wear all this other stuff. I feel sleep is starting to come up.
We didn't even start with these robes and all of that stuff was brought in by J. Delano Ellis. That was not our book tells us what we wear. They then added this class A stuff. He brought that in because he said that his religious lineage went back to the Church of England, and so he brought in all of this stuff, and his close friend Bishop J.O. Patterson Sr. Implemented it. Okay, I get that. Which I don't even think they were that. I don't even know how close of friends they were, but because he was no T. Jones guy. But at the end of the day, it is, and Nikki, it's not just people think it's the Catholic robe. It's really any of those liturgical religions, Methodist, Episcopal, any of those, they all kind of operate the same way. Yeah, he is. Yeah, gonna make you get that. Yeah. It's The thing about it is, we weren't really designed for that. You know, our guard. You will never. You can't find one picture of Bishop Mason, Driver. None of those guys wearing that kind of foolishness. Bishop Mason was kind of a black tie, gray. I mean, a black suit, gray suit kind of guy, with a tiny bow tie. That was his thing. That's what he did. The other bishops, you go back and look at the pictures, they're almost all wearing black or gray or blue suits, with a tie, and that's what they do. And then we even had some bishops who used to do exactly what Giants are doing right now, mixing cocktails on their way, on their way to preach.
I'm trying to stay woke, Bishop. I'm trying to stay woke.
No, you try to get your second win. I got you. I got you. I got you. I used to be young. Now I'm old. I've still never seen the right.
I'm in the middle.
You see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Oh, to go back to the age that you are, I would be excited. Yeah, you know what? I agree with that. I think they want to be accepted, not respect. I think they think respect is something different. um, I think that I heard
Ooh.
somebody say one time they asked him. He was a police officer. They said, "Why don't you carry a gun?" And he said, "Because a lot of times when you carry a gun, the respect you think you get is really just fear." And so to me, when I relate that to the church, a lot of them they just have people afraid. They don't really have respect.
Well, Bishop, they lead with trying to make people scared of them. Because I had a lot of people try to tell me, "Oh, Mario, you should be very careful." What am I be careful of? Like I'm not out here extorting nobody.
Mhm.
Hint, hint. I'm not out here, trying to take money for store. No, I ain't doing that. Ooh, that's better. Praise God. Um,
The only reason, let me say this, I'm not talking about Bishop Wooten because I don't know anything about it. And on this platform, if we don't have receipts, we don't discuss it. Um, it's just kind of the way I operate. Now, if Jives knows something about it, that's different. But I don't know anything about this at all. Um,
now
I,
wait, let me
I
go over
know
this. Wait a minute now. Hold on.
I know people say things. I know what I've heard. But I have not ever had anyone tell me directly anything. So I just don't approach it, especially when it's something like that. No, yeah. I mean, but I hadn't heard anything about that, so I don't know what that is. Giles, have you?
I ain't heard. Wait a minute now. I ain't heard nothing about him being in some little boy's room. Now,
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. So,
Lord, let me
um,
take this drink on up these stairs and go sit in one of these chairs, Lord. I gotta plug up this computer because it's about to die.
okay. Well, I mean, I'll look into it. I don't know anything about it. I'm just telling you, me personally, I don't know anything about it. Um, I think if it was that widely known, I think if ain't nobody know, I think the Mario Jives and myself probably would have heard about that by now. But I don't know anything about it. So, and somebody who literally practices in courtrooms every day. I don't just really get into that. That's not what we do here. Now I have, there are things I've heard, but I don't discuss them because I don't know them, and I cannot take the word of a couple of people. I'll just say it like that. Some of who Jive knows, and he wouldn't take his word either. So we're talking about last year, because now I ain't scared. I'll ask the question, but I don't have the facts, so I don't know. Yeah, we don't. It's just not what we do. Yeah, I've seen too many people, and I'm pretty good at lawsuits myself, but I don't like them, and so I don't run down them rabbit holes. I don't know. I don't think they. I don't think they have write-in candidates for presiding bishop. You gotta get on the general board. It's only a low fund.
There we go. Whew, that's better.
You can't be that tired just walking upstairs. What is?
This is a big house. It's
I
got
can
things.
tell. I can tell you don't walk 15 flights and 4,000 square feet somewhere.
Um, I honestly don't know about that because this is my first time hearing about that.
Yeah, so
And
we won't address it because
yeah,
it's not nothing. I mean, you know how I am. So that's when a person's character is killed, you can't get it back. You can't give it back. So
yeah.
for me, it's those are just things that I don't really. Well, you know me, I don't get into that anyway. For the most, if it's something that you talking about child or whatever, then yeah, I mean that. Yeah, I ain't got no problem exposing that type of foolishness, but um, I'm very factual based over here, so it's got to be. I think Larry has learned that lesson. Um, that just because somebody put it out, don't mean that'll still get you caught up. Um,
Okay, wait. Is he saying Bishop Wooten or Wooden?
Wooten.
Okay, I don't know nothing about that.
Yeah, I ain't never heard nothing about that. And we ain't been in St. Louis in a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, when was we last in St. Louis? 2018?
Yeah, I think 2018 was the last year. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think by 2019 we were in the pandemic.
Yep. And even with that, 2019, who was the one that was basically running the church?
Hmm.
And not only running the church, but taking care of the business. He's dead and gone now.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I don't. Yeah, we don't. You know, that just ain't what we do. So
I feel like this, Bishop, and I'm trying to keep myself woke,
yeah,
is this. I feel like if we don't, or not we, but leadership, if if what they're doing is just geared towards money, because none of this has anything to do with spirit.
no.
This is not spiritual. This
Can I,
is
can I
not
say
God.
can I say this, little bro? Can I say this to you?
Mhm.
Um, I kind of agree. One of my mentors is Dr. R.A. Vernon. and he says, "You never apologize for feeding your family. If ministry is what you do, preaching, pastoring, musician, if that's what you do, I ain't got no problem with the money part of it. I really don't. I do not have a problem. You know, nobody should want to run for. You run for general board because you're gonna get speaking engagements and you're gonna get this and you're gonna get that. I mean, if you not, then what you running for? Because that's your job, So
Actually,
I don't
uh,
have a problem with them making money.
actually, here's the thing. I always thought that if you're on a board, not just a general board, but if you're on a board to enhance whatever the board, whatever government, department, organization that you're a part of, you're getting on the board to enhance.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about popularity or
No.
somebody just looking good or whatever. You're on there to enhance the church.
Yeah.
What have they enhanced? That's an even better question.
I, I,
What have they,
I think the last time that we had an election, we had a show, me, you, and Gil, and I told you my picks, but I had a reason for each of them. Bishop Lawrence Mann, he had the media aspect, and I thought he would make a great public relations secretary for the general board. So everybody had a position to me to play that makes sense. And so when I look at general board members, I'm looking at like you said, what do you bring to the table? Again, I'm trying to figure out, and I don't people feel some kind of way, but again, when you tell me you're running for the general board and there are 12 people already sitting there, then I don't care if your name is Patrick Wooden or whatever. Tell me who you think needs to come off the board. Because you clearly think somebody needs to go. Because you think you should be there. So tell me what
I
you think
don't,
ain't gonna happen.
outside of Brandon Porter, because Brandon Porter has always been influential in the media department, always, and influential in business and an overall go-getter.
Mm-hmm.
He's arrogant as heck, but that man could get some stuff done.
Yeah.
I can't tell you who, what, where, when, why Elijah Hankerson wants to be on the board or should be on the board.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot tell you
I
what
think his I think his outreach. I think his outreach. I think
outreach would.
his concept of evangelism and outreach, jail ministries. Think about how Kenneth Copeland became Kenneth Copeland. Most of his stuff is in jails, is in county jails and prisons. And so that's how a lot he's become as famous as he is from just that aspect. We don't even have a presence in jails across the country. We don't even have a presence. Um, again, is he focused on that? I don't. Again, that's going to depend on who your presiding bishop is. Um, I think foreign missions in terms of evangelism outreach in that aspect, I think
Mhm.
he could be good at. But again, he's got to be assigned to that. So what I think he can bring to the table, I think he can bring that. I don't know if he brings anything else, but I think he could bring that. My opinion. I know I got you, but that's important. We're an international church, Jobs.
I absolutely agree, Marco. I think Elijah Hankerson got votes. He got sympathy votes because of race.
Probably,
No, he did.
but let's be realistic. That was probably an aspect of it because he played, and the reason we think that is because he played it like that, right? Because he made it a big thing that my wife wanted me to do. That's the only reason I'm doing it. He used that as justification because he knew what was happening was a violation of the Constitution. But and I get, hey, listen, I get it. Um, You know, you don't know if you're ever gonna get the chance again. Blah 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 blah. He played it the wrong way, in my opinion. But let's be real. Elijah Hankerson was the president of evangelism. He's getting on anyway. If he had waited the year or 2 years, whatever it was, and ran now, Elijah Hankerson's getting on because the General Board is a popularity contest. Everybody knows his name. Now, let me ask you this, John, because I saw that look on your face. If you get a ballot and it's got Bishop David Herron and Bishop Elijah Hankerson, which one are you voting for?
As far as like, what are they? What's
For
okay?
General Board. For General Board, who you voting for? You voting for Bishop David Herron or you voting for Bishop Elijah Hankerson?
Okay, so let me explain this first.
Okay.
Let me explain this first. Okay. I've never heard David Herron preach.
Right.
Okay, like I know of him.
Right.
Elijah Hankerson, I really haven't mustered up enough to just listen to him preach.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard him talk. I've heard him do all those things. And I know that he's over evangelism. Now, with that being said, he is not a Willie J. Campbell.
No. He is not a Dennis Martin.
He is not Dennis Martin. He is not and never will be a Willie James Campbell. But nobody people who could have did the job and did a better job than him. I would have put, and this is sidebar.
Yeah, I'm curious.
I would have put Brian Nelson there.
Okay, I can see that.
I would have put Dennis Martin there. I would have put Darrell Kenner. He's been sitting there for years. Brumby. Aaron Robinson. So
I think Brumby and Aaron Robinson would have probably been my top 2 picks, in all honesty. I think they got overlooked twice. And Brian too. I think Brian has greater ambitions. Aaron certainly did because now he's a bishop. So, you know. But in terms, like you said, in terms of guys who were in that department who were overlooked, I just don't know, and I'm just gonna be honest with you. I don't know enough about the evangelism department like you do to be able to say that Hankerson shouldn't have had it. I think it also had to do with him, because he had the support of Wooten too, and a couple of bishops in Missouri, because he went in and built a jurisdiction with 67 churches. Most of them came from outside the Church of God in Christ. So that's I think when they looked at the totality of it, it's kind of, I don't know what Aaron and Brumby do at home. I think Brian is pretty strong in Houston. But I don't think any of them was doing what Hankerson was doing in terms of building a jurisdiction out of nothing.
Well, so let's say this with Brian Nelson. Brian Nelson, I think he could have been a great evangelism department head, because I really don't see short man Gary Sprewell doing too much of nothing.
I don't even know how he got there. How did he even get there?
That was Sheard's pick. The man goes and makes a mess everywhere he goes. So it's like, and then he's a lying prophet. So why would you put this nigga in a position? Yeah, Bishop, I'm having because I feel sleep and this drink. It's just gonna make it worse. Why would you even put this nigga in a position? And his track record is a complete mess. And who is his pastor?
You know, they told me, I still don't know who his pastor is.
Who is his pastor?
You know,
And then he was in a church in New York. I think that was New York. And he was sleeping around with everybody and stealing the money.
That is the accusation of the bishop.
And then instead of them correcting the problem, they just faded it out, took him down, and then put somebody else over there. Ain't even fixed it.
Well, you know, I had a whole conversation, Giles, with some people you know, some preachers you know. I mean, that just argued me up and down about Spree and about Dr. Myron Williams, you know, and because I'm saying, well, who they pastor?
He's not even coaching.
Hey, so this is what they tell me, right? Well, Dr. Williams, he's a member of Greater Emmanuel. Greater Emmanuel what? Because 5 days ago, he was a member of Chosen Vessel. I must be missing something. Well, didn't they tell me that Spree is out, that he pastors some little church in California somewhere? Since when?
I have never seen a video, and I want to make sure I say this correct. And I've never seen a video of Spreewell pastoring any church in California. He is not pastor. All I've ever known of him to do is run pathetical lie conferences and preaching engagements. Matter of fact, Ryan, where's Barbara? Where's Rita Womack? Where's she at?
Is she still out in California?
No, she's in Texas. And okay, let's go here. They took Rita Womack down from the elect lady and gave it to Dorinda Clark Shear, and basically threw Rita Womack away. They said they found Rita Womack. She had, I don't know if she just lost it. They said she was in the street just walking. And they had to get her because they stripped her of everything. And somebody had to get her and bring her to Texas because they just left her. And they did the same thing to Mother River. And then Ruby, thank God for Ruby and having good sense. Ruby is still going. That should have been the elect.
Oh, she's a beast. Oh,
yes.
She's a beast. And she is yes.
Ain't nothing to be played with.
Yes.
Ain't nothing to be played with.
That's the answer. She's yes all day. And what is the general board designed to do? The general board is designed to make decisions. Well, they do two things. Their responsibility is to do what is assigned to them by the General Assembly. So every General Assembly session is supposed to be a session where the General Assembly votes yes or no for things to get done. And whatever they vote yes to, it is the responsibility or the assignment of the General Board to then get those things done. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is to represent the General Assembly in the absence of the General Assembly, which is only during General Assembly sessions. And if there's something that is urgent or dire that they need the General Assembly to approve, then they come to they can call a special session of the General Assembly to present what it is that they want to do. So that's the first part. And what have they present for the church at large? The general board doesn't really give the General Assembly things. The general board does what the General Assembly assigns them to do. The presiding bishop can present something, or the general board can present something that they think should be done, but they present that to the General Assembly. They don't tell the General Assembly anything. That's not the way. Even though I know y'all see us operating like that, that's not the way the Constitution works.
So I got a question. Doesn't the General Assembly, that's the vote of the people. That's the vote of the church, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So that's the purpose of us voting.
Well, jurisdictional assemblies is really where the votes are supposed to start. And then they send their delegates to then go to the General Assembly and vote according to what they voted at home in the jurisdictional assembly. That's why those reports are supposed to be given to jurisdictional secretaries before you ever come to a meeting, an April call or a November meeting.
When was the last time you did a General Assembly at the local church?
No, in your jurisdiction.
That's what I'm saying. When was the last time? Because I've lived in Minnesota, I've lived in Florida.
Yeah, well, see, that's the problem. That's the problem is because, and I talked about this in 2022, leading up to that fight that I had to run for chairman. The point is, if the chairman doesn't make sure every jurisdictional assembly is established, then the church is not functioning the way it's supposed to. And if you don't know the reports before you get there, then you don't even know what you're voting on. So a lot of this stuff that we see happening, they are just telling the delegates what they're doing when they get there. It's almost like a rubber stamp. That's why you see the church doing what it's doing. So, people who don't like it, you're welcome. You're welcome. What's going on, Shannon Gail?
Gail!
She don't want to join us tonight. Yeah, you do have to pay your report to be in good standing in order for you to vote. You never lose a credential in the Church of God in Christ. Once you're made, you're made. It's like the mafia. Once you're made, you're made. The problem is that you cannot vote if your credentials are not currently paid up. But that's like anything that you cannot vote if your driver's license ain't good, you probably can't vote. So that's the way that goes. But we don't necessarily do that. Oh, Mother Gail, they want you to know they love you. Yes. Well. Okay. So, in order for credentials to be taken, you've got to go through a tribunal process. Credentials are not just taken from you. You have to have violated something, and then you have to be tried, and then they can be taken. You can be suspended. There's a lot of things that can happen. There's a lot of things that can happen. But credentials is very. I don't know, Jed, I don't know of maybe but one person that I can possibly personally know of that's ever lost their credentials and he surrendered his. I'm not playing with you tonight, Chad. I'm not playing with you, Mario. Yeah, that's right. Get to the bottom of your cup. We will leave that and let that go.
Only there be. Because there's a whole letter out of him.
I'm not, Nikki. young. I'm not doing this with you tonight.
Right. Thank God for facts,
Let me
proofs,
tell you
and
something.
receipts.
There are two people I'm not getting into in between, and that's my little brother and his nemesis that he is not leaving alone. Y'all don't know how
No,
many times I
no,
have
no.
let it go. Let it go.
I'm gonna leave him alone. I'm gonna leave him alone.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how she got her. I don't know how that would happen. How would that happen, Jobs? He said he knows of a local missionary got a license taken away just for wanting to move on. Move on to what? Now you know that's not no communion wine.
It's
Yeah.
communion. Gail, it's communion. Yes.
As often as he does this, hopefully he remembers.
As often as we do this, take ye drink.
It's Sunday. It's still first Sunday.
It's Sunday. Ooh.
You felt that in your shanda, did you?
Yeah.
I don't know how that would happen. I don't. I can see her surrendering, but I don't know how a missionary's license get taken.
So I tell you this. You know, for people that say, "Oh, Mario got put out," all of this, nobody can have. There's no proof of any of that.
Mm-hmm.
I have been in this church. I was born August 22nd, 1984, in Creighton County, West Memphis, Arkansas. I was born in this church. My first pastor was Superintendent Jackson of Powerhouse God in Christ. That was my first start in this church.
Right.
My grandmother, my mom, aunt, everybody worked in this church. I can tell you without batting an eye, this is where I came from. I don't have no made up story or anything like that. And so for me, I can't speak for nobody else, but I can speak of. I feel like for people like you and I and Gail that have come up through this church and we've seen it, we've seen the leaderships. We have the right to voice our concerns. We have the right to say, hey, this is our church and we want it to be better. We have the right to say we would like to see, we the people, that pay our reports, our dues, our this, that, and the third. We have the right to say these things because the old saying was you can't join in it. You got to be born in it. This is the Church of God in Christ. We were born in this church. Heck, we come right from the line of Bishop Mason.
That's right.
So it's like, how much more? And the bad part about this church don't even take care of the founder's family.
No. Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. The Bishop Mason only had 3 sons.
That you know of.
Well, that I know of. Let me say it like this. Because I heard some things, but well, only 3 that the University of Tennessee recognizes in their historical right. Let me say it like that. I'll put it like that.
Bishop, hold on one second.
Yeah.
Did you know about Mary Patterson living in that house and it was full of mildew?
What house?
The house off Elvis Presley?
No.
So I was told I'm still waiting for this information. I was told that before she passed, that she was living in that house. It was full of mildew. Her caregiver had to come and get her out of there because of the flooding and it getting all in the walls and everything like that. She was living with the caregiver when she died. And the people really didn't even show up to her funeral. Now, this is a bishop's wife. This is Bishop J.O.'s wife?
Senior, yeah.
J.O. Senior's wife.
So here's the thing you got to understand about that. And I don't know if you remember this or not, but so he married her like a few months before he died. She was not, and he introduced her to the church at the women's convention. He was at the women's convention in I think '89 because he passed in '89, and she was young. She was young as it relates to Bishop Patterson at that time. So she didn't have, she didn't really have that respect. She wasn't like an Elsie Mason, who was extremely young. Also, when Bishop Mason married her, and that's a whole nother story about that whole situation. Maybe one day we'll talk about it. But the whole point of it is, Mary was not. She was never respected as the first lady of the church or whatever. I mean, they were married just a few months before he died.
Yeah, because nobody really showed. Like her funeral was at the mausoleum.
Yeah, I mean, she just wasn't that. Then and it's kind of Bishop Patterson had a lot going on. Bishop Patterson had a lot going on. And so that's going back to what you say, how they treat the founders' families. You got to remember, most of the people that you see now are not Masons. Okay? Because to be a Mason, you would have to have, your father would have to have blood. And that blood would have to carry down to another. Boy, men carry bloodlines. Because when a woman gets married, she takes on
man's
the name of whoever her husband is, and it becomes that bloodline. So, when most of the people that you see are going to be great grandchildren or great great grandchildren, you're not even going to know that they connected to Bishop Mason unless they tell you, because their name is going to be, Patterson, Smith, Jones, whatever the case may be, because Bishop Mason had a lot of daughters. But he didn't have but 3 sons. So that's just what that we know about. Let's say that. So that's why you don't see that. And then most that would aren't involved in the church. So, it's still a different thing.
Bishop J.O. Patterson has another son. You know Benjamin?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I've talked with him.
Bishop J.O. Patterson saying he was a very unique man. That's the best. I mean, he was always very loving to me and my sister. He was more like a grandfather to me than an uncle per se. And he came out to West Texas, and he just was who he was. But I mean, it doesn't change his facts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, his facts are what they are. I mean, he had children with multiple women, while he was presiding.
Oh,
Bishop.
oh Lord.
It's just a fact.
Okay.
You trying to find your room?
No, well, I haven't. I'm here just until tomorrow. And I'm trying to find where I'm supposed to be sleeping at.
Listen, as Gil would say, in 4 minutes, the clock on the wall.
Okay.
It's Sunday. I've been in service. I've been in church all day. But we're gonna make sure that Mario finds where he's supposed to be. And get no Amber alerts about him later on tonight.
Praise God, I'm telling you.
Because he is clearly lost in this house somewhere.
Okay, that's not it. Oh, Jesus. Oh, I know you lying. Oh, baby, you're going to be up here because I am not sleeping down there. Okay. I got the easy room.
He done searched all over.
I found my room. Go get my bag.
Tomorrow, are you in the boom room? Because you know what? I don't even want to know what this room is about. You got look like it was some poles in there and some.
No.
What in the world is going on in this room?
So this house has like themed rooms.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like you got Disney stuff all over the place. And
so it's like the Palm Hotel in Las Vegas, where they suites that have themed rooms and stuff like the basketball room and blah blah blah.
Yeah, so like one room is like, hold on.
Okay, Jay. Okay, Shaw, you saw what I saw. Like the room is giving off some sort of vibe.
So this is
I couldn't get no sleep. I couldn't get no sleep in there.
This Toy Story.
What?
Yeah, it's Toy Story.
The first time I woke up in the middle of the night and saw that thing, I would be done.
And it's a hideaway room. The room that I first was in is supposed to be like a theme of a ship or something.
Oh, okay.
This one. Oh.
It's a tiki room? Oh my
it's
God.
like a pirate ship.
Wow.
So
only in Florida.
Only in Florida. Did these Negroes lock the door? I hope they did. Because I'm going to my room. But
I would be absolutely afraid to be in the house, walking in one of those weird rooms. Get me to the bedroom. I'm staying in there. I'd be in the kitchen somewhere. Lights are on.
I'm heading to my
room. Nikki say that was not Toy Story. That was Nightmare on Elm Street.
I'm sorry. That was Toy Story. And see, the other house I went to, my sister came here. Wait, which room I was? Oh, it's way over here.
Angela say you gonna mess around and find out. You keep popping them doors open, you don't know what's behind them. It's gonna be a whole different heat show in a minute.
Okay, there's a plug go right there. Oh. All right. Okay.
I'm tripping off all of this. Hey, listen, go to bed, man. Go because I can't have a conversation I'm thinking about having with you right now. Look at this is for me. Y'all don't know.
Oh, with these lights.
Yeah, I give my little brother a hard time. Y'all don't know. I really do. Oh, I ain't always say
Y'all,
God for that.
I'll check it out, Jalon. I ain't I gotta find my cell phone now. Good Lord. See these lights, dude. That's a race car.
What is that? An alien? Oh, it's a race car.
Yeah, it's a race car room.
Oh, well, why is the lights neon? You know what?
It's
They said you need a hover around for that house now. Y'all out there doing it big. Y'all out there doing it big. So
Well,
it's
Bishop,
just a vacation, or you enjoying your birthday? What's happening?
no. So like we had people that came in town, so they rented a house. So we had
Evangelist Young, we're not talking about stripper clubs tonight. We are not talking about stripper clubs tonight. Say your room looks like a stripper room. You know what? We're not.
No, we're not. I am saved. Hallelujah. Can I turn on a regular light?
Hell, the job has been completely delivered. Y'all don't know that? Y'all been leaving him alone. And whatever he's doing in that stripper room is sanctified, I'm sure.
And set apart.
Ooh.
Oh Lord Jesus.
Angela, this is not a Laguna house, I promise you.
This is not Laguna Beach.
No, this ain't Laguna Niguel. This is Florida.
She said casino house. No. But Bishop, I tell you, with everything that's going on, it does make me sad because it's like there's no type of like wanting to correct anything anywhere.
Yeah.
Everything is just whatever goes. And that's that.
I think you have to change. True change comes from the inside. And I think what we have to begin to do is identify others who are change agents and then support them. And I think the more we do that, I think what we keep getting are people who say they want the change, but they really want the position, and then we give them the position, and then they don't change nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And so we gotta stop doing that and find real people that really want to not just bring the church back to its knees. That's easy, but I think you have to find people who want to bring the church back to order and structure. I think that's a better thing.
I feel like if we get to the place where we put the love of God and true ministry before anything else, we'll see a difference. Because this church was set up and established for community. It was established about community. This is the reason why so many people came to the Church of God in Christ and through the Church of God in Christ is because this was a community organization. And we have truly lost sight of that. And this has become a who's who political church.
Every convocation, we have to show all of the celebrities and this and that or whatever who's popped up for whatever reason. But that's also again what makes Bishop Wooden dangerous because the very people that you're talking about are the same people that's showing up
Mm-hmm.
and that they're trying to get to come. I mean, it's just you
Bishop,
know.
we had more people showing up at convocation in St. Louis than anything. When Bishop when Bishop Blake changed the way he started doing things, the
Mhm.
decline of convocation in the church started going down. We used to have different speakers coming in
Mhm.
every Friday ecumenical night.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
used to have different preachers throughout the week. Some were COGIC, some were not,
Mhm.
but they were powerful preachers. They stopped doing that and started bringing in regular people, and it's like these folks don't want to hear them. We came to convocation to be empowered, to and it hasn't been there because these people that they've been putting up have been horrible.
Well, they putting up the popular preachers that whoever's getting the most
Who
views
popular?
on
Renee
whoever's getting the
Winston?
most well, whoever's getting the most views on whatever. It used to be um
What
it
views Renee getting?
oh
Who?
I'm talking about who we getting? That's why Younger. We're getting Brandon Jacobs. We're getting um
But hold on. That
Hudson. We're getting Hudson. We're getting I mean they done been the past couple of years in a row. I mean here's the
so
thing though.
so that's why Younger.
You gotta remember though, Demario, the convocation used to be made for guys like you and me. It was an opportunity to see who were the up and coming young elders, who were the up and coming young evangelists, who were the up and coming pastors, superintendents, whatever. So we really used to showcase our. You came to hear. That's how we know Dennis Martin's name. That's how we know Willie James Campbell's name is because our people did it. This was a COGIC convocation. It was
They were
not
good preachers
all that
though.
other stuff. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But
Like you got these young.
we don't know how good our preachers are because we don't hear them anymore. We don't know how good our musicians are because we contract other musicians to come play for our convocations. We don't know how good our singers are because we bringing in superstar singers. So you know, oh yeah, Nathan Simmons. That's how we got to know Nathan Simmons. So I mean, it's these are we used to have people that that's how we knew who they were. That's how you know Derek Hutchins' name. That's how you knew Bishop Harold Benjamin, Bishop Frank Smith, and Bishop Henderson, and I mean that's how we knew these guys because it was a COGIC convocation. Um, it's I'm not super. I don't know about. I don't know about you, Josh. I'm not super offended by the whole platinum registrations and stuff like that. I don't really care
Mm-mm.
much about that. And, but we used to not do it.
Cause I definitely pay for my platinum registration.
I mean, it used to be you just show up. If you knew that if you didn't get there at 6 o'clock, you wasn't gonna have no seat at 8 o'clock. Yeah, I don't know if we ever. I mean, as long as Bishop Sheard is in, that's why I said. I mean, he would have to change some things for me to vote for him. And the main thing he would have to do is follow the Constitution, which means he would have to get a member of the Church of God of Christ to be the International Music Department president. That's where you start at. And I know people get mad at me, but I keep advocating and telling people from what I've seen over the past 3 years, her progression ending with what I saw at AIM this year, I keep saying Kiki is would be a great choice next. Um, I just think she's good at what she does. I think she has the ability to do it, and I can't say that she's an overlook. I still like Patrick Riddick. I still like Derek Starks. Um, but I think AIM was so much like a COGIC convocation,
Mm-hmm.
and she did what she needed to do. I don't know. I don't know. I'm always gonna say what it is. I think on that. Um, I think she's coming up. And how do I know about Laguna, uh, Sister Angela? I was born in Long Beach. I grew up in South Central, 103rd and Grape Street. I ain't gonna yell out that Grape Street Crip on you. And then when I got older, I went out to Laguna Niguel. So I really am a California guy. They're gonna have a lot of people there. I mean, I'm sure. I'm sure Kimbrough gonna have Thais. What's his name? Tyrese. He's gonna have Tyrese there. He probably gonna come prophesy to us. He's prophesying now, ain't he? Yeah.
Bishop,
Yes, sir.
I'm
The
I
clock
feel
on
this,
the wall.
huh?
The clock on the wall.
Yeah, the clock on the wall.
The clock on the wall. Well, it is about that time. I mean, I've been on here 3.5 hours. That's way, And Gail ain't even here, and I've been here 3.5 hours. My God. My God. Man, I really want to appreciate you for waking up and coming and hanging out with your big brother tonight, man. I appreciate it for real, for real. Thought we
Always.
had a good discussion. Enjoy your vacay. You got what? One more day?
Well, I just came over here today. They've been here since Friday. I
Okay.
came over here today. But I leave and go back home in the morning.
Okay. We'll get you some rest. I know you got to drive. Thank you all for watching and hanging out with me and my little brother. Uh, and we just celebrated a birthday.
Yes.
Uh, we
Last
just check it out. We just hold on, because y'all got to be y'all disobedient. We just celebrated a birthday. I know y'all see some cash apps up
mine's right there. Bishop is right there.
there. Okay, because we just celebrated a birthday because our birthday is on the same exact day. So we
August
literally
22nd.
we August the 22nd. We literally just celebrated a birthday, and you know what? We gave y'all a good show tonight. Hit the cash apps and say happy birthday and just do what y'all know y'all need to do. Hit the cash apps. It says
Let's
124 people up there. I don't really know how many people watching because that I don't really tell you how many people are watching, but it tells you how many people are in the room apparently. Look at them. See, look, 5 of y'all just ran out, just like we do. Offering time, you done ran out. Uh,
Oh my God.
yours is August 23rd. Well, happy birthday, Tina.
Happy birthday, Miss Tina.
That's right. That's right, Sean. Well, the man robbed God. Don't rob us. Look, 4 more people running out. Yep, it's offering time. Hit the cash apps. Drop your 5, your 10, your 20, your 25 in there. Or 22, because we were born on the 22nd. Uh, Angela ran jobs to bed. Angela, I ain't never seen it before. You got a special anointing on your life. Y'all go drop the cash apps. Uh, hit up King Jobs Cash App. Hit up $ Bishop D Jordan Cash App. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for hanging out with us on a Sunday night. And $8.88. Okay. Well, I need 500 of y'all to do that. That's
Hello. Praise
you're gonna do
God.
$8.88. And then somebody tell me what it means. Yeah, I don't know if you're gonna get it either. It's uh, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll be back on Thursday. We'll have a whole nother conversation to talk about because I still ain't even talked about the whole Donnie McClurkin thing and some other stuff. And God bless them all.
I need that sound effect. Oh Lord.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's gonna be because now him and Marvin Winans ain't agreeing on that, so we just gonna it's we'll see how that's gonna work out too. But anyway, thank you all for watching. Y'all know y'all have seen the finger go up. You know where the Cash App is. Y'all know what to do. We want to thank you for doing it, and thank you for watching, hanging out with us. But y'all know the clock on the wall. It is midnight wherever in the world Jive is, and it is 11:15 where I'm at. So we gonna get up out of here.
All right, Bishop.
All right, my brother. Love you, man. We'll talk to you later.